Blessed be Yah, our righteousness, the King, the fountain of living waters, the spirit and creator of all things. This is part 2 of the re-recording which we did on December 6, 2014. As I explained in the previous session, we're re-recording it due to interruptions by the oppressor. So we're going to pick up where we left off, dealing with the laws concerning the strange woman and concerning the household. We're going to start by dealing with the laws concerning the husband and wife. I'm going to be dealing with adultery and the proper way to raise our children under Yah's law. So, like I said, we're going to pick up where we left off. And I'm going to take you into the law concerning husband and wife. And from there, I'll take you to Exodus chapter 22. And we're going to deal with verse 16. Okay. He says, "And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife." Alright. So if you have sexual relations with a woman, okay, under the law of Yah, you must endow her to be your wife. You are responsible for her. Okay, there is no promiscuous sex in the way of Yah. Okay, if you have intercourse with a woman, you are now responsible for her. Okay, she is your wife. Okay. So, for the men out there, okay, yeah, you can have more than one wife, but there's responsibility with that. Okay, it's not just going around and having sex with women and not taking responsibility, okay, and obligation of what happens thereafter. Okay. So, if you, like I said, if you have intercourse with a woman, okay, by law, she is now your wife. You are responsible for her. Alright? Okay, so from there, dealing with the law concerning husband and wife, I take you to, we're going to deal with Leviticus, alright, chapter 18. I'm going to take you there first, because now I'm about to deal with the laws concerning husband and wife and wives which we may not take, alright, forbidden wives under Yah's law. Okay, under Yah's law. Alright, so from there, like I said, I take you to Leviticus chapter 18. And also, I forgot to mention a precept, okay, to what I just read over in Exodus chapter 22. I take you to Deuteronomy, okay, so I'm going to take you to Deuteronomy before I deal with the forbidden wives, okay. And in Deuteronomy, this is dealing with the law concerning, okay, when a man takes a woman, alright, and has intercourse with her, he is now responsible for her. Okay, so from there I'm going to take you to Deuteronomy chapter 22. Alright, I'm in Deuteronomy chapter 22. Alright, and I'm going to take you down to verse 28. It says, "If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, alright, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he have humbled her. He may not put her away all his days." Alright, all his days. Alright. The only way he may put her, the only reason found in the law that he is permitted to put her away, and we're going to deal with later, is if you find some uncleanness in her. And by uncleanness, I mean anything that she's doing or that she's done that's contrary to Yah's law. Alright, So once again, if you take a woman and you have intercourse with her, okay, you are responsible for her. You must endow her to be your wife. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take you back over to Leviticus chapter 18. And from here, I'm going to deal with the law concerning wives that are forbidden. Wives with, women, okay, in situations concerning certain women, all right, that we are forbidden to take them as our wives. So I'm going to go back over to Leviticus chapter 18. Okay. In Leviticus chapter 18, I'm going to go down to verse 17. Alright. So this is Leviticus chapter 18, verse 17. Okay. It says, "You shall not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter, neither shall you take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman, it is wickedness." Okay, so we cannot take a wife and her daughter, all right, have intercourse with them, all right, and take them as wives. All right, you cannot have intercourse with a woman and her mother. All right, so no intercourse with a woman and her daughter, no intercourse with a woman and her mother. Okay, or a woman and her grandchildren. All right, or the grandchildren and the grandmother. Okay, that is wickedness. Okay, so we are forbidden to take a woman and her daughter and a woman and her mother. Okay, and from there, read on. It says, "Neither shall you take a wife to her sister to vex her, to uncover her nakedness besides the other in her lifetime." Okay, and as we see what happened in the situation with Israel and how he took the two sisters and they eventually became rivals. Okay, he took Leah to wife, okay, when he was deceived by his uncle. Okay, after working those 7 years for Raquel. Okay, and once he saw that he was deceived, he had a decision to make. Okay, whether he was going to work another 7 years for her sister, okay, or was he going to obey Yah's law, okay, and just accept the fact that he'd been deceived and take Leah and go on his way. Okay, he had a decision to make. And you're dealing with human beings, and as we know, sometimes our emotions, our own feelings get the best of us, and but no matter how how we feel, there's a law that we must abide by. Okay, and we see Israel didn't do that. Okay, but you may not take a sister, all right, a wife and her sister, that is forbidden under Yah's law. Okay. All right. So I'm going to deal with the Levites. All right. I'm going to deal with the Levites for a second, and laws that they are forbidden. The laws, okay, concerning wives that they are forbidden to have. All right. So I take you to Leviticus chapter 21. All right. In Leviticus chapter 1, it states, okay, that the Levites, they shall not take a wife that is a whore or profaned, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband. All right, for he is holy unto a strong one. So the Levites are forbidden to take a wife who has been put away from a husband, from a previous husband. Okay. Whites are forbidden. Alright. Also a precept to that, I take you over to Ezekiel. Alright. Ezekiel chapter 44. And this is, concerning the Levites. Alright. Neither shall they take for their wives. I'm in verse 22. This is Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 22. Neither shall they take for their wives a widow, nor her that is put away, but they shall take maidens of the seed of the house of Israel. Okay? The whites can deal with any woman in the house of Israel. Okay? It says, or a widow that had had a priest before. Okay? So the whites are forbidden to take any woman who's been put away, or a widow of any man other than of the seed of Levi. Okay. If a Levite is to take a widow, she must have had a priest before. Okay. Her former husband must be a Levite. Alright. Okay, now concerning the priest, alright, that has the oil, that's anointed, the high priest, okay, of the seed of Zadok. Okay. We're going to deal with the wives concerning him. Alright, and I take you back over to Leviticus chapter 21. Okay. And I take you down to verse 13 of Leviticus chapter 21, verse 13. And it's talking about the seed of Zadok, the high priest. Okay. It says, he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow or a divorced woman or profane or an harlot. These shall he not take, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. Okay. Meaning that the wife he takes must be of the seed of Israel, of any tribe. Okay. Alright, so those are the laws of forbidden wives concerning the common people, alright, and concerning the priesthood and the high priest. Alright. Now, I'm going to take you dealing with multiple wives. Okay, like I spoke of in the beginning of this session. Alright. When a man takes a wife, a woman, and have intercourse with her, he's not responsible for her. Okay. And if he decides to take another wife, okay, he must be able to provide for both of them. Okay. He must be able to provide for both of them. So if he can't afford them, all right, then he don't need to be taking multiple wives until he's able to, provide for both, or however wives he chooses. Okay. He must be able to provide for all of them. All right. So I'm going to take you over to Exodus chapter 21. Okay. Now this law, okay, what we're about to read is dealing with, a captive, a woman, should I say, a maid servant. All right. But it's applicable, all right, to all. All right. So I'm going to take you here to Exodus chapter 21. Okay, and it's talking about, a maidservant. Okay, if her master has given her to his son, or if he takes her to wife, okay, and he already had a wife prior to her, okay, or if he is taking her and he takes on another wife, okay, her duties of marriage must not diminish. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about. And it says, I'm in verse 10 of Exodus chapter 21. Okay, and it says, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish. Okay, so if you have a wife, all right, and you take on another wife, okay, you have intercourse with her, all right, the former wife, okay, the wife that, the first wife, should I say, okay, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage must not diminish. Okay, you must take care of her and provide for her the exact same, okay, as you did when it was just her. Okay, if you take on another wife, the first wife, her duties of marriage, okay, that which you was provide for her must not diminish. Okay, it must not diminish. Okay, so, be careful. Okay, when you decide to take on another wife, it ain't about just going around and just taking wives, and just having intercourse with with multiple women. Okay, if you have intercourse, all right, with another woman, all right, you are responsible for her, and you must provide the exact same, okay, to the first wife. Okay, no exceptions. Okay. Okay, dealing with wives, multiple wives, it comes a lot of responsibility and obligation. All right, so think about that. Okay. All right, now I'll take you over to, we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 21. Okay, now this is, it's dealing with multiple wives, but it's dealing, with the children also. Okay, and the rights of the firstborn. All right. I took you here, to substantiate in this book, okay, that men are required, men are permitted to have more than one wife. Okay, and for all you women out there who's been coming into this truth, okay, and you still can't accept that, then you're not ready to return. Okay, you're not truly in harmony, okay, with with Yah and His ways. Okay, you can't take some of Yah's ways and say you accept that, all right, but the other, some other ways of Him, of Yah, you're not going to accept. Okay, if you truly about Yah of hosts, you will accept all His ways. All right, there's no picking and choosing of that which you're going to accept. Okay, if Yah has written it up in this book that men are permitted to have more than one wife, then that shouldn't be a problem for you. If it's Yah, if it's the way of Yah, Yah comes first. Okay. Okay. You're not supposed to be dealing with emotion anyway. You're supposed to be dealing with understanding. And understand that's how men multiply their seed. Okay. That's how, that's how you make a nation of people. All right. Okay, so once again, I'm over here in Deuteronomy chapter 21, and it says, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, like I said, when I spoke on, the Pout Talk that we did, okay, on December the 6th, all right, I don't like to use that word hate even in this book, okay, when it's talking about people, all right, because, as Yah says over in Malachi chapter 1, okay, he hated Esau, okay, but Yah can do that, as it said over in Yeshaya chapter 55, as his ways are higher than any man's, okay, as the clouds above are higher, okay, so is his ways, above any man. All right. But human beings by law, all right, are not required to hate. We're not permitted to hate any human being in our heart. Okay. So, but like I said, we are human beings, and at times, it's going, we're going to care for one human being more than the other. Okay, I mean, that's just life. Okay, but we're not permitted to hate anyone. Okay, so in this situation dealing with the multiple wives, okay, in actuality, he's dealing, okay, with a man who cares for one wife more than the other. Not meaning that he's taking care of one, all right, more than the other, but he cares for one more than the other. Okay. So, dealing with this law, I'm going to take it from the top again. It says, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another he cares more for, okay, all right, or he cares less than, should I say, okay, and they have born, all right, and if the firstborn, all right, son be hers that is less cared for, all right, then it shall be when he makes his son to inherit that which he has, that he may not take, they may not make the son, all right, of the beloved firstborn before the son of the one that is less cared for. Okay, it says, which is indeed the firstborn. Okay, so if he has multiple wives. Okay, say he has two wives. Okay, and the one he cared less for buried him his firstborn son. Okay, then that's the firstborn son. Okay, he may not take, okay, let's say if it's, his wife that he cares more for has a son, all right, but in actuality, he's the second born, all right, he cannot make that second born the firstborn son. Okay, his firstborn son, okay, which the wife which he cared less for bear him, by all means, he shall inherit the double portion. All right. All right. He shall have the double portion. All right. All right. Verse 17, it says, but he shall acknowledge the son of the less cared for, all right, of the firstborn, by giving him, all right, a double portion of all that he has. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. Okay. The right of the firstborn is his. Okay. So from there, in the same chapter, well, not sure I say the same chapter, dealing with the governor, all right, as it states, Deuteronomy chapter 17, if I'm not mistaken, just a second, all right, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 17, all right, talking about the governor, all right, he should not multiply wives excessively, all right, and Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 17 says, talking about the governor, all right, neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away, neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. Okay, so the governor shall not multiply wives unto himself excessively, nor shall any man. All right, as we see, when we read this book, the situation with Solomon, and how dealing with all those women eventually turned his heart away from Y.O.R, the king, who set him up on the throne, all right, to govern his people, Yah's people. All right, so the governor may not, okay, greatly multiply wives unto himself. Okay. but you should fear Yah opposed the king. Alright. So dealing with prophecy, alright? Dealing with prophecy. When you go to Yeshaya chapter 4 at the beginning of it, it talks about, okay, how, when Yah's, this movement, which is known as the branch in this chapter, is beautiful and glorious as it is today, and it's progressing. Okay? It's progressing. Alright? And during this progression, 7 women are going to take hold of 1 man. Okay? They're going to take hold of 1 man and say, let us wear our own apparel. Okay? In fact, you know what? Just let me go back. Let me go read it word for word. Alright? Yeshaya, commonly known as Isaiah, chapter 4 at the top. And he says, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of 1 man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Alright, in that day shall the branch of Yah, which is this movement, Our Righteousness, alright, be beautiful and glorious. Alright, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Alright. That's going on as we speak, and it's progressing. Okay, it's progressing. All right. So that's just to substantiate, okay, that this is the way of Yah. Men are permitted to have more than 1 wife. All right, there's not adultery as they teach you, in these church houses, and there's not, the way society looks at adultery. That's not adultery. All right, adultery is when a man sleeps, okay, with another man's wife. That's adultery. All right, we're going to deal with that in a minute. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to take you back to Deuteronomy, and like I said in the previous recording, okay, I'm not sure how, how much this is going to, take place once we return, alright, but, it's part of the law, and we're going to deal with it anyway. Alright, but I'm going to take you back over to Deuteronomy chapter 21 and dealing with the captive woman. Alright. So, I'm going to take you over to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Alright. Starting at verse 10. Okay. And the reason why I say I'm not sure how this is going to play, because if you understand prophecy, you know that, children of Israel is not going to be, we won't be going to war. All right, Yah's going to fight our battles. Okay, when we get attacked by Assyria, all right, in the last battle, okay, when those nations get an evil thought in their mind to come against, all right, the holy city, Yah's going to fight that battle. All right, the same way Yah's going to drive out those Assyrians. Okay. We tearing down that dome of the rock, preparing Yah's 3rd and last temple to be built. Alright, so Yah's going to fight our battles. We will not be going to war as a nation. Alright. Okay, so when you get to verse 10 in Deuteronomy chapter 21, it says, when you go forth to war against thine enemies, and Yah, alright, your strong one, have delivered them into your hands, and you have taken them captives, and see among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her, that you would have her to your wife. Okay, it says, then you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and part her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and she shall remain in your house, and bewail her father and mother a full month. And after that she shall go in unto her, you shall go in unto her, all right, and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. And it shall be, if you have no delight in her, okay, which means you find some uncleanness in her, all right. If she was in idolatry, okay, all right, and when you took her to wife, all right, you know, she says she's not going to be in idolatry no more. She's going to take on the ways of Yah, okay. She's going to abide by His laws, statutes, and commandments, all right, as we see Ruth did, okay. And she's going to come under the law of Yah to submit and obey and to fear Yah with all her heart and all her soul, okay. And then it comes a time, you know, while you, after you've taken her, all right, to wife, that she turns back, okay, to her wicked ways, okay. Then you may put her away, all right. So, let me take it from the top in 14 in Deuteronomy chapter 21. It says, and it shall be, if you have no delight in her, then you shall let her go whither she will, but you shall not sell her at all for money. You shall not make merchandise of her, because you have humbled her. All right. So, like I said, you know, you have to find some uncleanness in her. All right, we're going to deal with that. All right, but you may not sell her, right, to another nation or to anyone, but you may let her go on her way, because you have humbled her. Okay. All right, so from there, this is another law dealing concerning, you know, the husband and the wife, okay, and we're going to deal with the vows, okay, which your wife may utter out of her mouth, okay, her husband may allow it or disallow it. All right, so let me take you over to Numbers chapter 30. All right, Numbers chapter 30. We'll start at verse 6. All right. Now, the previous verses before this is talking about when a woman, when she dwells in her father's house. All right. In that situation, if she utters a vow, you know, her father may allow it or disallow it. Okay. But if she become a man's wife, all right, the same laws apply. All right. And that's what we're going to take it, starting at verse 6 in Numbers chapter 30. All right. It says, and if she had at all an husband, all right, when she vowed or uttered aught out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it, and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. Okay, so if she utters out a vow, you know, if she puts forth a vow, and her husband hears it, okay, you know, he acknowledges it, all right, but he holds his peace, okay. He doesn't say, you know, that, you know, he's going to disallow it. Okay, by holding his peace, that's a confirmation that he accepts the vow which she's uttered out of her mouth. Okay. So if he holds his peace, okay, then her vow shall stand. All right. It says, but if her husband disallowed her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of none effect. Okay, so if he heard her vow which she put forth, okay, and he disallows it, then that vow shall not stand. It says, but every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their soul, shall stand against them. Okay, a widow, you know, when she utters forth a vow, okay, it shall stand, or a woman that's put away, divorced, okay, because she doesn't have a husband, all right, to oversee the vow, to allow it or disallow it. All right, and if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound her soul with a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her, and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband have utterly made them void on the day that he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand. Her husband have made them void, and Yah shall forgive her. Okay? Because if she uttered out a vow and her husband disallowed it, okay, Yah is not going to hold that vow against her. Okay? Because her husband disallowed it. Every vow and every bonding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. Alright? It says, but if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establish all her vows or all her bonds which are upon her, Okay, he confirmed them because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard them. But if he shall in any ways make them void after that he had heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. Okay, so what it's saying is, if a husband, okay, he heard the vow which his wife put forth, okay, and he held his peace at her, okay, but let's say like a week later, time goes by, all right, and let's say they get into a little argument or whatever, all right, and now he wanted to make the vow which she uttered out of her mouth, which at first he holds his peace at her, all right, but now he want to make them void. Okay, you can't do that. Okay, if he was going to make them void, he had to make it void as soon as he heard her speak. Okay, as soon as she uttered as soon as she put forth her vow, okay, he should have made it void then. He cannot wait later on down the road to say, okay, now he's going to disallow the vow which she uttered out of her lips, because now he's Yah's going to hold him responsible. All right. Alright, it says, these are the statutes which Yah commanded Moses between man and his wife, between the father and his daughter, yet being in her youth in her father's house. Okay, so if your wife utters forth a vow, okay, you may, allow it or you may disallow it. Okay, so that's the law dealing with vows, concerning the husband and his wife. Okay, now we're going to deal with marriage violations. Okay, and from here I'm going to take you to Deuteronomy chapter 22. Okay, and this is marriage violations. Okay, if a woman who's betrothed to a husband, and another man takes her and forces himself upon her. Okay, and she's physically unable to defend herself. Okay, and the man forces himself upon her. Okay, there's laws to go with that. All right, we're going to deal with them. So we're going to go over in Deuteronomy chapter 22, and I'm going to take it from starting at verse 22. So it's Deuteronomy 22, verse 22. All right. And it says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. All right, so you shall put away evil from Israel. Okay, now this is when, the sex is consensual. All right, both parties have consented to it. All right, which is adultery, and we're going to deal with that. Okay, but it goes on to say, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, all right, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and you shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel because she cried not, being in the city, all right, and the man because he have humbled his neighbor's wife. So you shall put away evil from among you. Okay, now for those who dwell in the city, okay, a woman, when a woman cries out, being in a condensed population, all right, her cry could be heard, all right. But if it's a case where, the man puts his hand over her mouth, or, she's physically unable to scream out, all right, Then, as I mentioned in previous shows concerning this, Yah does not justify the wicked. Alright? Alright, so the wicked will be condemned, alright, and the righteous will be justified. Simple as that. Okay? Alright, but if a man forces himself upon a woman and she is physically able to scream and call for help, but she chooses not to, then she shall bear her iniquity. It's the same as if she committed adultery, because she just allowed it to happen. Okay? It says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel you shall do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slays him, even so is this matter. Like I mentioned before, you commit adultery, it's the same as you committed a murder. Both are punishable by death. Alright? Now this situation, dealing in the countryside, dealing in the field, okay, where if she had screamed, no one could be able to hear her. Alright? That is justified. That's justifiable. Okay? Because no matter how loud she screams, being in the field, no one can hear her. Alright? So only the man who forced himself upon her shall be, he shall bear his iniquity. But unto the damsel there is no sin worthy of death. Okay? Yah does not justify the wicked. Alright, and the righteous, the righteous are justified. Alright. So, that's dealing with marriage violations. Alright. And from there we're gonna deal with divorcement. Okay. And the laws that go with, when a man puts away his wife. Okay. So from there I'm going to take you to Deuteronomy chapter 24, and we're going to begin at the top of that chapter. Alright, and this is dealing with divorcement. Okay, and if a man, he finds some uncleanness in his wife, and decides to put her away. Alright, it says when a man, this is Deuteronomy chapter 24 at the top. It says, when a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her. Alright, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it unto her, and give it in her hand, right, and send her out of his house. Okay, so if he take a wife and he finds some uncleanness in her, meaning that he finds out something that she's doing or something that she's done, okay, which is contrary to Yah's law, whatever the case may be, all right, then he may write her a bill of divorcement and send her on her way. Okay. It says, and when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband, it's the term here is hate, but okay, should I say if the latter husband finds some uncleanness in her, all right, and write her a bill of divorcement and give it into her and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, all right, or if the latter husband died, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is abomination before Yah. Alright, and you shall not cause the land to sin, which Yah your strong one gives you for an inheritance. Okay, so if you send your wife away, you put her away after you've found some uncleanness in her. Okay, she takes another man, she takes another man and be his wife. Alright, then he finds some uncleanness in her and puts her away. Okay, you that put her away the first time, you can't go back to her. She can't go back to you. Okay, and this is one of the major, transgressions. Okay, as we see Adam did. Okay, he found some uncleanness in his wife when he found out she had committed an adultery. with this man known as the serpent. Okay, once he found some uncleanness in her, he was to put her away and never return to her again. Okay, but we dealing with human beings, as I dealt with the situation with Y.O.R. He was emotionally attached to this woman. Okay, and he allowed his emotions to come between him and the Creator. Okay, and he bared his iniquity for that. Okay, when you find some uncleanness in your wife, you put her away. Okay, you may not go back to her again. Okay, that's why the latter end of Adam was very bitter. Okay, because he chose to put his emotions towards this woman, all right, before YHWH the King. And the first commandment, you shall have nothing before Yah. That includes yourself, your spouse, your children, your brother, your mother, your father, whoever. Yah is first all the time. Okay? So no matter, you're not supposed to be dealing with emotion anyway. You're supposed to be dealing with understanding. Okay? But we human beings, and if you found your emotions getting in the way between you and Yah, you put your emotions to the side. Yah is first all the time. Okay? Alright, so that's dealing with the law. Alright. That's dealing with the law concerning, when a man puts away his wife. Alright, so from there, now we're gonna deal with, a man and his wife, and dealing with false accusations against a wife. Alright, against your wife in order to put her away. Okay, maybe you don't find her attractive, whatever the case may be. Alright. So we're gonna deal with the laws of a man when he puts forth a false accusation towards his wife. Okay, which is by law forbidden. You should not be a false witness. You should not bring up anything falsely against your neighbor, your wife, whoever it is. Okay. So from there, all right, we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 22, the same chapter. Okay, the same chapter. All right, but we're going to start at verse, let me see, Deuteronomy chapter 22. And actually, no, it's not the same chapter. We just read Deuteronomy chapter 24. Now we're going over to chapter 22. Excuse me. All right. So we're going to start at verse 13. It says, if any man take a wife and go in unto her, all right, and find some uncleanness in her, all right, like I said, this word says hate, all right. Or like I said, in this situation, the case may be, he goes into a wife, all right. He understands the law. Once you go into her, all right, you are responsible for her. You must endow her to be your wife. Exodus chapter 22, verse 16, as we read in the beginning of the session. Okay, and he takes this woman to wife. Okay, but now he don't want to be responsible for her. Okay, so he brings up a false accusation. Okay, in order to put her away. All right. It says, and give occasions of her speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. It says, then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the token of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And it says, and the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hates her. Okay, or he doesn't care for her. And he says, and lo, he have given accusations, accusations of speech against, occasions of speech against her. Excuse me, saying, I found not your daughter a maid, and yet there are the token. These are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. Okay. So this is for the man who takes a wife, who takes a woman, has intercourse with her, but now he don't want to be responsible, so he brings up an evil report on her. Alright? So he can have an excuse to put her away. Yah doesn't justify the wicked. Alright? And once it's been known that you bring up a false name, an evil name upon one of the daughters of Israel, okay? You must take that woman and she should be your wife. You may never put her away all your days. Okay? Alright, so that's dealing with, when a man brings up a false accusation, a false report. Alright? Okay, so from there, we're going to deal with taking Deuteronomy chapter 25. Alright, and I want to deal with this. It is talking about if two brothers dwell together and one of them died being childless. Alright, doesn't have a seed to raise, he doesn't have a seed to carry his name on the earth. Okay, then his brother, alright, the brother of the dead man, okay, must take his wife, okay, to raise up seed unto his brother. Alright, so in Deuteronomy chapter 25, start at verse 5. It says, if brothers dwell together and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. Okay, and it shall be that the firstborn which she bears shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. Okay. Alright, so like I said, if two brothers dwell together, one of them dies having no child, then the dead brother's brother must go in unto his wife to raise up seed unto the dead brother. Okay. It says, and if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gates unto the elder, and say, my husband's brother refuses to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him that have his shoe loosed. Okay, so he must be humiliated, okay, for being that selfish not to raise up seed unto his dead brother. Okay, as we look at Yahuda's two firstborn sons, well, his firstborn son and then the son that came after him. Alright, when his firstborn son, he was evil, he was wicked in the sight of Yah, so Yah took him out. Alright, and he died having no seed. Okay, so his brother, alright, he went in unto his wife, alright, but he kept, withdrawing prematurely, letting it spill, okay, alright, he kept withdrawing prematurely, so he would not raise up seed unto his brother, and that was wicked, okay, because he's having intercourse with his wife, but he's not, he's not performing the duties, okay, that he's supposed to perform, alright, for his dead brother, to raise up seed unto him. Alright, and he let it spill, okay, so that, he let it spill so that he will not raise up seed unto his brother. So he's having intercourse with his dead brother's wife, okay, but not performing, the duties that he was required to perform. Okay, so Yah took him out. Okay, and, those who read that, you privy to what I'm talking about over in Genesis. Concerning Yehuda and his two sons. Okay. All right. So, like I said, now I'm going to deal with adultery. Okay. I'm going to deal with the situation with adultery. All right. And from there, I'm going to take you over to Exodus chapter 20. All right. Exodus chapter 20. This is dealing with the 10 Commandments. All right. Okay, and one of the commandments, when you get to verse 14, Exodus chapter 20, verse 14, okay, it says, "You shall not commit adultery." Okay. You shall not commit adultery. Okay. That is a sin that is punishable by death. You shall not commit adultery. Okay. Alright, now there, dealing with that, we go to Deuteronomy. Should I say Leviticus chapter 20? Excuse me. Leviticus chapter 20. Okay. So we're going to go Leviticus chapter 20, and I'm going to start at verse 10. Okay, that's Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. All right, and in this chapter is dealing with the laws that are punishable by death, and adultery is one of them. Okay, as we about to read, he says, "And the man that commits adultery with another man's wife." Okay, adultery is not when a man has a wife and he takes on another wife. Okay, it's only adultery when a man, he has a wife, or if he doesn't have a wife, whatever the case may be, but he takes another man's wife. He sleeps with another man's wife. That is adultery. For the woman, okay, if you have a husband, okay, you should not be sleeping with any other man, period. Okay, but adultery is when a man takes another man's wife and has intercourse with her. Okay, that's adultery. All right. He said, I'm gonna take it from the top again in Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. He says, "And the man that commits adultery with another man's wife, even he that commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death." Okay. Also dealing with that, as it, one in another commandment, another 10 commandment. Okay. You should not be coveting your neighbor's wife. You shouldn't even want her. All right. You should have the understanding to not even to desire her. All right, you should not covet another man's wife, as it states over in Exodus chapter 20, dealing with the 10 Commandments. You're not supposed to covet, all right, another man's wife. All right, you shouldn't even you shouldn't even desire her. All right. Once again, adultery is when a man takes another man's wife. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to take you back into Proverbs, all right? As I stated before, Yah, he worked through Solomon, okay? And Solomon put forth these Proverbs, which are in harmony with Yah's law, okay? And we're going to deal with some Proverbs talking about the adulterous woman, all right? And the adulterer, all right? So, take you over to Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6. Okay. And let me see, we're gonna start at verse 32. Proverbs chapter 6. Okay. Verse 32, chapter 6, Proverbs. It says, but whoso commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. Okay. Lacks understanding. Alright. He that does it destroys his own soul. Okay. This is a law that, if broken, is punishable by death. Alright, so once you commit adultery with another man's wife, you just destroyed your own soul. Alright. It says, a wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. Okay, there is no sin offering, there is no trespass offering for adultery. Alright. You can't offer anything, you can't offer a sin offering and it be accepted. Okay, that ain't gonna happen. Okay, if you commit adultery, then that is punishable by death. You destroyed your own soul. Alright, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content. Alright, though you giveth many gifts, excuse me. Alright, so if a man finds out that you've taken his wife, okay, and you had intercourse with her, alright, there's no way you can buy your way out, alright, of that, of the repercussions that man is going to put on you. Alright. Jealousy is the rage of man. Okay. So if a man finds out that you've been sleeping with his wife, or he catches you, alright, there's no way you can buy your way out of that rage. There's nothing you can give him. Alright. Nothing you can give him. Jealousy is a man's weakness. Okay. He's liable to do anything. Alright. When the spirit of jealousy comes upon him. Okay. And you standing in front of him. Okay. There's no way you gonna buy your way out of that rage. Alright. No way. So once you commit adultery, you destroyed your own soul. Simple as that. Simple as that. Okay. So also dealing with adultery, I'm gonna take you to let's go to Job real quick and see what Job says about the adulterer. Alright, the man. Okay. I'll take you over to Job. What's that? Job 24 verse 15. Alright. So that's Job 24. Alright, verse 15. It says, the eye also of the adulterer waits for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguise his face. In the dark they shall dig through houses which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. Alright, they know not the light. They understand not the law of Yah. Alright, like we just read, he that commits adultery lacks understanding. Okay. And it's, you can't try to, you can't sneak your way, you can't sneak your way through this. Alright, Yah sees everything. He feels heaven and earth. Okay. So only the foolish man says, I will commit this adultery, but no man shall see me. Yah sees everything. Alright. So you ain't hiding from no one. Alright. Yah sees everything. Feels heaven and earth. Know the hearts of men. Alright. He knows the thoughts of men. Alright, so, there's no, like people say, creeping, creeping, there ain't no creeping. Yah sees you. Alright. Same way with the woman who walks around, committing adultery and saying nobody gonna see me. Yah's gonna bring it out eventually. Alright. So, you're not slick. For a man or woman, you're not slick. Okay, Yah sees you. And you will be judged accordingly. Alright? So let me take you back over to Proverbs. All right, take you to Proverbs chapter 7. All right, Proverbs chapter 7, and I'm just gonna take it from the top. All right, Proverbs chapter 7. All right, let me take it from the top. It says, "My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with you. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye." Alright, it says, "Bind them upon your fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your kinswoman." That they may keep you from a strange woman, from the stranger which flatters with her words. Alright. "For at the window of my house I looked through my casement and beheld among the simple ones," those who walking with walking out, in gross darkness, walking with no direction, okay, who don't understand Yah's ways, who don't understand Yah's laws, okay, walking in gross darkness. "I discerned among the youth a young man void of understanding, void of the law of Yah, passing through the street near her corner. And he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with an attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house." Roaming the streets. Okay, roaming the streets. Right. And it says, now is she without, now in the streets, okay, and lie in wait at every corner. Alright. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face she said unto him, "I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet you, diligently to seek your face, and I have found you. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, and with carved works and fine linen of Egypt." It says, "I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come and let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home; he is gone a long journey." For the good man is not at home. Okay. The husband leaves. Okay, and now she brings another man into his house. Okay. This is the heart of a strange woman. Of an adulterous woman. So why would you want to deal with a strange woman when she could possibly put you through this? Okay. You going on a long journey. She brings another man, in your bed. Why would you want to risk, going through that? Why would you want to give it any thought dealing with a woman whose ways are movable? Okay, who walks without discretion. Walking in no direction, who have no light in her whatsoever. Walking dead. Why would you want to risk putting yourself through that? Okay. He says, "He have taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed." With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goes after her straight away. As an ox goes to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. As a fool who worships idols of wood. He said, "Till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hastens to the snare, it knows not that it is for his life." Okay. As soon as he turns into, as soon as he turns in unto this adulterous woman, he's caught up in a snare, caught up in the trap, which will cost him his life. It says, hearken unto me now, therefore, you children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Alright, let not your heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths. For she hath cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Alright. Her house is the way to hell, the grave, going down to the chambers of death. Okay. Going down to the chambers of death. Okay. So committing adultery is the same as you committed murder. Alright. And we know in the law what it says. Alright. If you commit a murder, if you shed man's blood, by man shall your blood be shed. Okay. So if you commit adultery, you will be punished. And the judgment on an adulterer and an adulterous woman, okay, is death. Okay. So from there, we'll take you over to Proverbs chapter 30. Alright. Proverbs chapter 30, this is verse 18. Hold on just a second. That might not be the spot. Okay. No, that's not the spot. So, like I said, we were dealing with dealing with adultery. Dealing with the adulterous woman, and the judgment that comes upon those who commit adultery. All right. We also dealt with the laws concerning husband and wife, and dealing with multiple wives, dealing with forbidden wives, captive wives. All right. Okay. So now we're going to deal with the children. Okay. And if you listen to the last session that we did on Power Talk, okay, this is when the adversary really started to interrupt the message. Because one thing he does not want, alright, is for your message to reach the children. Okay, because that's, he manipulates the children. He gets them early. And, he puts these things in their head, okay, to turn them farther and farther away from YHWH. To take them deeper and deeper and deeper into the darkness. Okay, he gets them while they're young. Alright, so, when you start talking about the children, okay, you start talking about the poor, the oppressed, okay, that's when he really, does his best to try to disrupt the message. But this is Yah's message, and Yah's message is going to get out. Alright? Okay, he thinks he finds one way to try to, the adversary finds one way to try to disrupt the message. Y'all find, he just makes it come out another way. Alright, but the message is going to get out. No matter how hard, alright, the adversary tries to fight against it. It's going to get out. Okay, so we're going to deal with the children. Alright, and we'll take you over to Deuteronomy chapter 6. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 6. Okay. Alright, so Deuteronomy chapter 6, and I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna start at let me just take it from the top. How about that? Alright, take it from the top. And it says, now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yah your strong one commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land whether you go to possess it. That you might fear Yah your strong one, to keep all his statutes and all his commandments which I command you, you and your son and your son's sons, all the days of your life, that your days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that ye may increase mightily, as Yah the strong one of your fathers have promised you, in the land that flows with milk and sweetness. Alright. It says, "Hear, O Israel, Yah, our strong one, is one Yah. And you shall love Yah." Alright. "You shall love Yah, your strong one, with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart." Alright. "And you shall teach them diligently unto your children." Alright. "And shall talk of them when you sittest in your house, and when you walkest by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up." Alright. So these laws, statutes, and commandments, you shall diligently teach them unto your children. Okay. You raise your children in the law of YHWH the King. Okay. If you care for them. Okay. If you care about their future. Okay. If you care about their well-being. If you care about their protection. Okay. If you want them to multiply. Alright. If you want them to be healthy. You raise them in the law of Yah. Okay. If you want them to find peace. Alright. If you want them to walk in truth and in righteousness. Alright. By wanting all that, turns you right to this book and remembrance, this law. Okay. So, you teach your children these laws. Okay. You lead by example. You raise them in the law of Yah. Okay. If you care for them. If you want to see them succeed. If you want to see them multiply. If you want to see them, if you want them to find peace, then you teach them these laws. And you show them the right path to walk in. Notice I said path, not paths, plural, but path. It's only one righteous way, and that's the way of Yah. That's the path, of YHWH the King. That's the only way. There's no other direction. Only one direction. Okay, it's only one way to peace. It's only one way. All right, for those of us that's dwelling in captivity, there's only one way. All right, to salvation. All right, not marching. All right, not causing riots. Okay, all that stuff has been tried already, and we still doing it till this day. All right, there's only one path to salvation. So, for those of you Hebrew Israelites, so-called black people, so-called Hispanics, if you're tired of being oppressed, okay, and you want to see a brighter future for your children, also for yourself, okay, if you want to get them out of this, satanic, oppressive system. Okay, you want to see, your children's days be prolonged. You want to see your days be prolonged, and you raise them in the law of YHWH, the King. Because it's the only way to salvation. Yah is the only Savior. Besides Him, there is none. Alright? So, you teach your children these laws. Okay? If you care for them. Okay. Alright, so from there, take you over to Proverbs chapter 12, or should I say 22. 22. Okay, Proverbs chapter 22. Alright. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Okay, what does it say? It says, "Train up a child in the way he shall go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." Okay, train up a child the way he should go. Alright? How you train a child? Okay, you have to show him the way he should walk. Okay? You have to show him, lead by example. You have to apply the law to your everyday life. And when that child sees you applying that law to your everyday life, then that child would apply the law to his or her everyday life. Alright? Okay? So train up a child the way he should go. And when he gets old, alright, he shall not depart from it. His children and his children's children forever. Alright, like it states in the last chapter, 59 years shy of the last verse. Okay. Yah's word will not depart of our mouths, our children's mouths, and their children's children forever. Okay. Alright, so train up a child the way he shall go. When he gets old, he will not depart from it. Okay. Alright. Take you over to Proverbs chapter 4. Okay. Chapter 4. Start at the top. Alright. The top of chapter 4, Proverbs. It says, "Hear ye children, alright, the instruction of a father, and attend, alright, to know understanding. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law. Alright, for I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also and said unto me, let your heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Get wisdom and get understanding, forget it not, neither decline, neither decline the words of my mouth." Alright. The law of Yah. This is Solomon talking. He's telling you what his father Dawid told him. And this is the same thing fathers out there should be telling their sons and their daughters. Forsake not the law which I teach you. Okay. For the law is wisdom. Okay. The law is wisdom. When you apply the law, okay, Yah illuminates you. Alright, when you apply the law, Yah illuminates you. Okay. So forsake not the law, alright, of Yah of hosts the King. Alright, the spirit and creator of all existence. There is none else. Okay. So, from there I'm going to take you to Proverbs chapter 17. Alright. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 6. And it says, children are a crown of the crown of old men. It says, and the glory of children are their fathers. Alright. Like I stated over, I referred to Isaiah chapter 59, the last verse. Okay. Yah's word will not depart out of our children's mouths, and their children's forever. Okay. That's the everlasting life, which is mentioned over there in Daniel chapter 12, where it says, many shall awake, some to everlasting life, alright, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. When it's talking about everlasting life, it's not necessarily meaning that one man will live forever, because only Yah is forever. Alright, only Yah is forever. Okay, Yah is the first and the last. Okay, so it's not talking about one man living forever, but it's talking about, his seed, a line. Okay, his line remaining on this earth forever. And the only way a man's line, his seed, can remain on this earth forever, okay, is, this law. He has to apply this law. He has to teach this law to his children, and their children teach the law to their children, so forth and so forth. Okay, that's the only way a man's seed can remain on this earth forever. Okay. So children's children are a crown to to an old man. Okay, and that's what it's all about. Okay, seeing your children multiply, seeing your children have the best food. pure water, okay? Breathing just pure, breathing air, good air, okay? Living in peace, all right? That's what it's all about, okay? It can't always be about you, okay? You have to think about your children and the futures that they will have, okay? All right? So that's what it's about, all right? Okay, in this same chapter, verse 25, it says, "A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bear him." Okay, that's a rebellious son who chooses not the way of Yah. Okay, who walks after the imaginations of his own heart. Okay, or who forsakes the law of Yah, who forsakes the guide, all right, of their youth. So you teach these laws to them children, okay, and they continue to rebel. All right, there's a law for that too. We're gonna deal with that. All right. Okay. So from there, we'll go to Proverbs chapter 28. Okay. Proverbs chapter 28. All right. Go to verse 7. It says, "Whoso keeps the law is a wise son." Okay, but he that is a companion of riotous men shames his father. Alright, so the wise son keeps the law of Yah. Because the wise son understands by keeping the law of Yah, he will find peace. In the situation that we're in today, he will find salvation. Alright? He will be redeemed. Okay. All right. So from there, we're going to deal with chastising children, correcting them. Okay. And what Yah says, all right, how we should apply the rod to our children. Okay, because like I mentioned on the session, okay, dealing with the pro football player Adrian Peterson, all right. And how he was indicted for disciplining his child. Okay. Correcting his child. Delivering his child from the grave. Okay. Letting his child know that there is consequences and repercussions for our actions. Okay. If those who followed the story, one thing they don't mention, okay, one thing they don't even bring up, okay, is what the child did. Okay. That child could have, he could have done something that could have possibly cost him his life. Okay, and his father was correcting him. All right. So the next time he even think about doing the same thing that caused him to get punished, all right, he will stop and consider. All right, the consequences for his actions. That's just, that's just parenting. So for him to get indicted, okay, for correcting his son, all right, just shows you, okay, the type of society that we living in. Okay, for a man to get indicted for disciplining his child, okay. So we're going to deal with the chapters and verses, okay. We're going to deal with the precepts concerning chastising and applying the rod to your children to deliver them from the grave, okay, to make them stop and consider, okay, to apply that rod as Yah applies it to each and every one of us when we walk, when we walk sideways, okay, when we fall off track a little bit, okay, when we stumble, okay, Yah applies the rod to make us to, so we stop and consider, okay, and we don't make the same mistakes. All right, so we're going to deal with Deuteronomy chapter 8. Okay, I'm in Deuteronomy chapter 8. All right, I'm going to deal with verse 5. So Deuteronomy. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 8. verse 5. It says, you shall also consider in your heart, all right, that as a man chastises his son, so Yah has chastised you. Okay, this is Moses talking about the children of Israel. Okay, so, as we chastise our children, that's how Yah chastises us. Okay, when we fall off track, when we fall sideways, okay, when we do something that is not in harmony with Yah's law, all right, he chastises us to make us stop and consider. That's the same way we apply the rod to our children. We chastise them to make them stop and consider, to drive that foolishness out of them. Okay. All right. Okay, so from there, I take you to Proverbs chapter 2. All right, Proverbs chapter 2. All right. I'm going to start at verse 11. So that's Proverbs chapter 2, verse 11. Okay, it says, my son, despise not the chastising of Yah, neither be weary of his correction. All right, for whom Yah cares for. All right, it says loves here. All right. What should I say? Yah can love and hate, So I'm going to read it like it says. It says, for whom Yah loves, he corrects, even as a man, or even as a father, the son in whom he delights. Okay. So if you care about your child, you're going to apply the rod. You're going to chastise him when he falls, when he goes astray from the commandments which you've laid down for him. All right. Okay. If you care about him. Okay. See, what they don't want you to do is care for your children. They want you to allow your children to do whatever it is that they want to do. Okay. But if you allow your child to do whatever it is he want to do, and when he does something that's not in harmony that's not in harmony with the commandments that you put forth to him or her, okay, and they go astray, all right, and there's no repercussions for it, okay, just imagine, the latter end. It's going to be bitter for that child, because that child is going to go into this world, and not knowing that there's consequences for your actions. All right. So, you must apply the rod to the child if you care for him or her. All right. Okay. So, take you over to 13 Proverbs. All right. 13 Proverbs, dealing with verse 24. Alright, and it says, he that spares his rod hates his son. Alright, but he that loves his son, or should I say cares for his son, alright, he that cares for him chastises him betimes. Okay, so if you care for your son, you're going to apply the rod to drive the foolishness out of his or her heart. Okay, whether it be a son or a daughter. Alright, you're going to apply the rod. You're going to chastise him to let him or her know that there is consequences for your actions. Alright? Alright, when they do something good, you reward them for that. When they do something bad, you judge them for that. No matter what it is, okay? Alright, you have to let them know that there's consequences. Alright? There's repercussions for the things that they do. Okay, so you chastise them. Okay, if you care for them. Okay, there's no reason why a man should be getting indicted for caring for his son. Okay, so I'll take you over to 22 Proverbs, verse 15. Alright, these are Proverbs concerning, the child. Okay, so it's Proverbs 22, verse 15. Alright, it says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. Alright, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Alright, there's foolishness. That foolishness, you drive it out. Okay, by applying the rod. Okay, you drive that foolishness out by applying the rod. Okay. Alright. So, next chapter over. Proverbs chapter 23. Alright, start at verse 13. It says, withhold not correction from the child, for if you beat him with the rod, he shall not die prematurely. Okay? Because we all gotta die someday. Alright? But if you apply that rod to the child, he shall not die prematurely. Alright? Okay? It says, you shall beat him with the rod and shall deliver his soul from hell, the grave. Okay, you apply that rod to deliver, that child's soul from the grave, premature death. Okay. You apply the rod if you care for the child, once again. Okay. It's like someone you care about, okay? You see, you notice something that they're doing, okay? That's eventually, eventually is gonna, take their soul, take their life, okay? What are you gonna do? Okay, you're gonna tell them about it, or you gonna give them a proper warning to let them know if they continue to do a such act, okay? That could cost them their life. That's the same thing when you're dealing with your children. Okay, you just letting them know that there's consequences for their actions. Okay, if you do something that's not right, okay, you will be judged for it. Okay, that's what it's all about. Okay. Okay, so from there we're gonna do take you over to Proverbs chapter 29. Okay, Proverbs chapter 29. Alright, we'll go to verse 17. Alright, what does it say? It says, correct thy son, and he shall give you rest. Yeah, he shall give delight unto your soul. Alright, because when you correct your son, okay, you've been raising him in the law of Yah, you let him know that there's consequences for his actions. So he's not just going out in the world doing whatever it is that he feels he want to do. Okay, and you raise that child right. Okay, it's a delight to your soul. You're not worried. Okay, whether that son is going to be murdered. You're not worried whether he's going to be in prison. Whether he's going to be hooked on drugs. Okay, you're not worrying about none of these things. Okay, it's a delight to your soul to know that you raised that child right. That you raised that child in the law of Yah. That his latter end will be peaceful. Okay. That's a delight to your soul. Right? Now speaking of that, we're going to deal with the rebellious son, and we're going to deal with the rebellious daughter. Okay? For the child who refuses to hear the word of Yah, who refuses to obey his laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay? This is for the parent who tried to raise the son as best as he could, or the daughter as best as he could. Alright? But the child just simply refuses to obey the commandments of Yah. Okay, so from there I'm gonna take you over to Deuteronomy. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna take you over to Deuteronomy. And actually, before I go to Deuteronomy, I'm gonna take you over to Exodus. So I'm gonna take you over to Exodus chapter 20. Alright. We're going to deal with that first before I take you to Deuteronomy. Alright? So that's Exodus chapter 20, going back to the Ten Commandments once again. Alright? Okay, so Deuteronomy chapter 20. Alright? And take it at verse 12. It says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Yah your strong one gives you. Alright, honor your mother and your father. Okay? Honor your mother and your father. Alright. And from there, okay, I'm going to take you to Exodus 21. Okay. So it's Exodus 21. And I'm going to take you to verse 17. It says, he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Alright? Shall surely be put to death. If you curse your mother, you curse your father, okay? That is an abomination. You shall surely be put to death. Okay? You shall honor your mother and your father. Alright? Okay. We'll take you over to Deuteronomy, or should I say Leviticus, excuse me, chapter 20. Okay, Leviticus chapter 20. Alright, once again, these are the laws that's punishable by death. Alright, and this is the precept to what I was just, basically saying the same thing. Alright, precept upon precept. It says, for everyone that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He hath cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. Okay, and another law that was in Exodus chapter 21 is speaking of he who smites his father or his mother. Okay, so if you curse your mother or your father, you already know you're going to be put to death for smiting your mother or your father. Alright. Only the rebellious, commit acts, like that. Alright. Okay. You shall fear every man his mother and his father. Okay, Leviticus chapter 19. Alright. You shall fear your mother and your father. Because when you fear, your mother and your father, ultimately you fear the Father, YHWH the King. Okay. Okay, so in Leviticus chapter 19, okay, this is a law concerning how we should raise our children. Alright. And we should not prostitute our daughters to be whores. Okay, and I see this going on a lot. Alright. And I'm going to read that law real quick. So that's Leviticus chapter 19, verse 29. Alright, it says, do not prostitute your daughters to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. Alright, so we shouldn't be prostituting our daughters to be whores. And a lot of you women out there that's trying to raise these little girls, okay, who have no light in them whatsoever, who's walking in gross darkness with no direction, okay, and you bringing men in and out of the house, okay, and your daughter sees these things, okay, they see you bringing men in and out of the house, alright, so you're prostituting them to cause them to be whores. You're teaching them that having multiple men, running in and out of the houses, having sex with all these men, you teaching them that is okay, which is not, okay. Also, the way you dress in front of these, these little girls, the things that you say, okay, how you dress them, alright, dressing them as a harlot, alright, having the characteristics of a whore, okay, when they, they see these things, alright, so you delivering their soul to the grave by prostituting them to be whores, okay. So, can't do that. For there should be no whores in the land of Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 23. Alright? There should be no whores of the daughters of Israel. And ultimately all the earth, there should be no whores. Alright? Of any nation. Of any kind, in any nationality. Alright? Okay. So, from there, I'm going to take you over to Deuteronomy chapter 21. And this will be it for this session. For this part, should I say. Okay. And we're talking about the rebellious son. Okay. About the rebellious son. So, I'm in Deuteronomy chapter 21, I'm taking you to verse 18, and it says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father, or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastised him, will not hearken unto them, Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto the elders of the city, and unto the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, This our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Alright. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So you shall put evil away from among you. Alright, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Okay, so that's the consequences of a rebellious son or daughter. Okay, a daughter, a son or a daughter who refuses to, obey, alright, Yah's law, which their parents should be teaching them. Alright, even after you chastise him to try to drive, you just simply couldn't drive that foolishness out of his heart or her heart. Okay, then this law would apply, and no mercy would be upon that child. Okay, so this is dealing with the household assault concerning husband, wife, concerning adultery, and how we should be raising our children. Okay, so with that, we're gonna shut down for now, and go over these laws, go over write them down, study them, okay, and apply them. All right, read, study, pray, and do. All right. So with that, blessed be Yah, our righteousness, the King. All right, the Holy One of Israel, the strong one of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the first and the last. And besides Yah of hosts, the King, there is no Savior. Yah bless. Peace.